dressed me and Grumpy because we were getting out. And we were Nazi lowriders. And we had long, our credentials were, elite. So, shit, man, you're getting out, brother. I love you like a brother, whether you do or not. Aside from Grumpy, I love you, Chucky, man. You have a good one with. And he was a righteous dude right there, Huff, Milton Huff. And we left, right? We're on our way. Me, him, Irish, Kenny, and we're on our way to Lewisburg. Well, we had a detour, and we had to go to, they ended up putting us in a holdover to the plane in Parchman, Mississippi. So we get to Parchman, and we're in Parchman, and they put us in one of the blocks right there, and we got a wing where it's just federal, right? And it's just supposed to be, it's Friday and we're until Monday, right? And so we come into this block, and all you see, you don't see nobody else, and they're all gangster disciples. So not knowing that in the feds, dude, we got a war with the G's, because of some disrespect or something happened in ADX or somewhere, And so Kenny looks at me and I would say, hey, man, I'm on site with these dudes if we can get out. But they don't mix us. See, it's, like they go to chow, and then when they're done, they'll open up our bars, and then we'll go to chow. And so this white dude actually comes over. He's a porter, and he comes to the bars, and he has eat a cigarette, and he's like, I'm like, what's up, Wood? He's like, I'm a City Royal, a Sime City Royal. Okay, so I guess in Mississippi, you got, the G's, you got the Vice Lords, or the whites. They won't let whites in their organizations. So the whites are either Sime City Royals or they're Latin Kings, believe it or not. And so, I'm like, all right, whatever. So I look at my homeboys, and they're like, man, kill these dudes if they let us. Well, inside the top bunk, right? We look at the top bunk, the mattress or something, and we pull this newspaper wrapped up, right? Something's in this newspaper. Pull it out, and there's like 4 knives, right? Big old bone crushers. And so we're like, damn. So we take the knives out and slide one to Irish and Kenny, and me and Psycho, we got one too, And so I'm not trying to really use one because I only got, at the time I didn't accept the brand offer, to get, and so, but when I left, I'm leaving with, 2 brand dudes too, to Lewisburg. And so it's on my mind, and then you got Grumpy too. And Grumpy's in Lewisburg, and he's a Nazi lover, my older homeboy. And he's out right now, or he's in the state right now, but he was, And so I was just like, nah, yeah, because for so long, us Nazi lowriders in the feds were like diehard Nazi lowriders. We'll never be brand. We'll never, we'll never step up. So that was my attitude towards it all the time. I wasn't the brand. I didn't like, 3 out of 5 of them, but so it was on my mind. And then I'm leaving with Irish and Kenny, and then Psycho is from, Psycho is from, Perils. He's from the AMA, from Paradise Hills, from San Diego. If you hear it, send my love to you, Psycho. So he's in the cell with me. This is in transit. So the next morning, boom, and open the bars up, and all those dudes going out, and then they open our bars up to go too. So now we step out, we're all looking at each other, and my heart's pounding, I ain't gonna lie, because now we're, they're like, come on, folks, get off with these dudes. So there's 4 of us, and there's 100 blacks. There's, in Mississippi, the block, there's only probably like 100 dudes, And so, not 100 blacks, there was probably like 30 blacks, and then like 10 whites or 20 whites. So anyways, we're going. Irish and Kenny, they're the older big homies right there at the time. They were like, hey, we're brothers. They say, hey, wait till we're done. We'll go eat, and then as soon as we stand up, we'll just start booking these fools. And they got life without. They were never getting out. They want me to have the knife, so they took the knife, because I was getting out. So, if you're respected and you're loved, and and the main line, dude, if you're a year or less, you're not, they're not putting work. They want people on the street. You want brothers on the street. You want, And so we're walking, right, and we get there and we come in and it's lined up, and it looks like it would be like an old Folsom day, it was the experience looked like, because the chow hall was set up totally different than the States. And so we get there and we walk in and they tell us there's two cops, one fat young black dude and a light-skinned black dude. And so they point us to, to the seats that are open, because they make you sit, a certain way. And so we get there, right? So I sit down, and you got Kenny and Iris, and then you got Psycho on my right. And so I sit down, and I remember the food that day. It was shingle, S-O, right? That slop meat, and so watery. It was nasty. So I'm sitting there, and I take a bite, but I can't eat because my adrenaline is going, and I know what's coming right now. And so I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, man, right behind me in my peripheral vision, a cop walks up to me, right? And he's standing behind me, and how the seats are, the height of the seat, like his pulse is not way. So I turn to him, I say, "Hey, homeboy, can you back up? Way too close to me, man." And he steps back. And, all right. He goes, "Oh, you them federal inmates, aren't you? My bad, your tattoos." All right. I didn't stand up. I sat. I was sitting there. Well, he walks right back up, right? And so, man, I grabbed my tray, and as I stand up, because I sitting down facing the other, so I got to turn, and in like a 180. And so I get the tray, and I jump up, and I go to swing it, and that SOS goes across the table at all these blacks in front of me, across their faces. and I hit the cop, boom, with the tray, right, as I swung it, and he goes flying back, right? Well, I turn, and all them blacks, they go jump up. Well, I jump up, dude. I put my foot on the seat, and I jumped up on the table, and I just thought, man, it was the perfect moment, the perfect time for something like I've seen in movies, like jump across the table and kick it off, kick the dude in the face. Well, I just go to jump up, boom, 1 foot there, 1 foot there, and I just go to swing it, to kick it, and I miss it, and my foot slips on the SOS, and I feet go flying up in the air, dude, and I come right down on my back, boom. Well, that dude tackles me right over the thing. Well, at the same time, right, that he's over me, boom, Psycho, Kenny, Iris, they jump up with their knives, and they just start booking dudes behind them, on the side of them, and I hear screaming and running. Well, this big old black dude, he was short, like 5 foot, right, but he's on top of me, and he's trying to swing, but there's seats right there, But then I got the knife that they didn't, they thought that they were going to leave the knife in the cell, but I took it just in case. Well, he's on top of me. I'm trying to stab him, but I can't because, I'm coming up, right? My arm's coming back, and the seat's right there, and he's trying to swing right there. And so he feels the knife going, in him, and he's screaming, going under the table. And so he's going under the table, and I'm trying to crawl under the table. All those inmates, I look up, and Kenny and Iris are chasing them down the walk with the knife, stabbing them, and they're screaming. I mean, the cops, too, running, and they shut the gate. And so I look to the right, and Psycho's right there, and he's looking, and it's just us in the chow hall. There's nobody now in the chow. It was just 100 meters. We just cleared it out, dog, us federal inmates. And we all look at each other, and I got blood on top. The dude was on top of me, and I'm stabbing him, right? So there's blood all over me. And then Psycho's like, "Where are my glasses? He had badass Gucci, gold framed, sick ass glasses, right? Long hair. And so he's looking, he gets them, he finds them. And so we're all looking, so we get the knives, right? And we throw them over the big wall, the silver wall. And all of a sudden we look way down, right, coming. And right there in Mississippi, they're called the K-9. That's like IGI, like the team, right? It's big ass boots like from the military, right? Because Mississippi's hella black, right? And so you see them coming, and they're fatigued, and so they come running in. They're like, "Get down, get down!" So we're already sitting down. They put us in cuffs. Well, down the walk, dudes are all booked up. You see nurses, you see everywhere. The air vac coming, you know. It was crazy. So they take us to the, you know, the part of the medical, big ass bullpens. So we get to the bullpens and they put each one. Hey, dude, so I get in one, and as I walk in, I'm thinking, you know, they're going to shut the door, and all of a sudden, boom, I get hit, and the dude knocks me down, right, and they cops are beating my ass, cuffs, right, kicking me, punching me up, right, and finally when they're done, right, and they undo the cuffs and push, and I crawl up real slow, a smile on my face, my lips all busted, I'm like, you got my power. I was all, you know, it was a crazy morning, man. So, well, so they get us, and we're there all. His name was King, Mr. King, and he had the white dude with these sunken eyes. Well, he's like, you guys are out of here. You guys are gone. I'm calling the marshals right now. You can't be here. Well, they should have never mixed us state inmates. That was totally bad. So nobody got in. They should have never took us out. So it was the cops bad. They take us to the hole. So we get to the hole. We're in the hole, and they put us. You got A and B. You know the sections. They put us in B. So we get to B. We come in B. We know this is all vice lords. Well, that was cool, you know, because we booked a bunch of GDs. So then with all these vice lords, the vice lords are their enemies. Come in, and we kind of got like, hey, yeah, that's right. The woods, you know, SA, whatever. And so anyways, when you get there, you got bars. So the way to get privacy where you have like a wall is you take your sheet and you tie it up to the bars, all four corners. And so your sheet stays up there. So I'm doing that. And so at 4 o'clock, you got, you know, count time. And they're bringing it. And I'll never forget it, bro. I'll never forget it. I take it down, and you got, you know, they're serving it. Hey, dog, as soon as they leave, bam, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear clack, 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 clack. You know, these doors getting, you know, rammed open. And I look out, and I see little white dude, he's going, and he's breaking all the doors open. And so I call him, hey, man, hey, what's up? What's your name? He said, hey, man, I'm Steve. Hey, man, I'm Latin King. I'm a Latin King. I said, can you get my door open? And he goes, hey, let me get my organization first, and I'll get you open, man. And I said, oh, man, thank you. And so, you open, man, and I look, there's dudes running around on cell phones, smoking with the cop down there. The cop's sitting at the smoking. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. That was the first time ever. And if I ever went to prison again, hey, that would be the one spot that I would want, right? And so I'm sitting there, right, and just baffled. So I go to Kinney's, I go to Irish's, and I get their cells open. And then Psycho's the only cell, the essay, that we couldn't get open because he had a cell that, you know. So they tell us, man, look, everything's run by Green Dots right here. You know, these cops are so broke that, you know, you can get a hamburger, a burrito for a $10 Green Dot. And, man, cell phone, I bought a cell phone for $200 right there, a Verizon, straight off. And then Psycho, he bought a Microsoft Windows. And so by that night, I bought the phone, and I'm in my cell up in the corner because you had to find a hot spot. And so with the phones right there, because you got Mississippi State or Mississippi, yeah, you know, the what's it called, the scanner, the scrambler, it won't let you in or out. And so I got the phone, and I got the littlest phone to flip to try to, you know, so I could take to Lewisburg with me, you know, because that thing would be worth 10 grand. Like, just straight up, a phone right there, you can't get nothing right there. Business over the TV and everything in Lewisburg. Well, anyway, so they get I get the phone, right, and we're using it. I'm in the hot spot, and right there when the scrambler gets it, the way you get through that is you go to your phone and you go airplane mode, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, call. And you can get through the scramblers like that, you know. So I got the phone, I'm right there. Man, I'm in my cell, I'm looking to the left, and there's this dude, his name was N.O., like New Orleans. And I'm looking over there being nosy, and you had like 3 of his homeboys in there, and they're vice lords. And so that dude was like he was like the general or something. And so I'm in there, and I hear him arguing on the phone because his girl is on the phone, and he has her on speakerphone on this badass Galaxy, and it's, you know, it's taped to the wall. I guess that's his hotspot. And he goes, I've sent you $100,000 in the last year off of hustling in this. Just him alone, right? So I found out that Mississippi ain't nothing like the feds, you know, because that's a federal holding, you know, just like I said, we just got that wing as the plane, you know. And so I ended up buying some dude, right? And that place right there, how they do it is it's all in tobacco. So their homeboys, they'll come through the Delta on quads, and they'll get about 100 yards from the prison, and then they'll come up to the fences in the middle of the night, and they'll throw these big-ass duffel bags, woof, over the fence. And so they'll pay the cop $500 green dot, and the cop will go out there, get this duffel bag at nighttime, and bring it in, and then give them empty the duffel bag. So they got bricks of tobacco, they got real knives, ones, you know, they got everything. Anything that fit in a duffel bag, you get. And so that's going on right there. So a couple weeks later, you know, I can't talk about anything that I had going on in there, you know, but a couple weeks later, they tell us that, you know, because I'm short, and Psycho had some kind of, that they were putting us in J block. I'm not even going to go into J block. Let me just say this: you know, my actions on that situation right there, because they took Kenny and Irish, you know, the following week, they took them and sent them back to Lewisburg. And the understanding was when I got out, because of Grumpy shot me a kite because I had the phone, and he said, "Hey, brother, you know, we're getting out. All doors are going to open up. Let's take that step." And Grumpy is my older homeboy from the ride, and he's still a brother, you know, and he's a brother, you know, whatever. And so anyway, so I you know, paroled, you know, I got out, and as soon as I got out, I hooked up with another brother